experiences end when they're over, a conversation, a storm, a nightmare, but near death isn't like that. For many experiencers, the moment their heart starts again, the moment breathing returns, something else begins. Small things at first, dreams that match someone else's, a word spoken by two mouths at the same time, a chill that hits two people at once, a message delivered twice by people who've never met, as if crossing the boundary of death tunes you to a frequency other survivors can hear. Tonight, we explore the echoes, the shared visions, the synchronicities, and the impossible connections between people touched by death. I'm Candy, and this is Half Haunted Chronicles. Near death experiences, NDE, researchers call it cross phenomenology, the idea that people who had NDEs develop similar after effects that seem to recognize each other, not socially, not emotionally, but energetically. Describe it this way: I can feel when someone else has died and come back, or we understand each other without talking. And it's like hearing the same song through walls. There's a vibration to them, like a bell rung once. Some can sense each other in a room, some share dreams, some finish each other's sentences, having never spoken before. These aren't coincidences, these are echoes. And here are some of those stories from Echoes from the Other Side. The Synchronized Dream. Two women, Mallory in Ohio and Teresa in Maine, both had NDEs with the same year. They'd never met. They had no mutual friends. They lived 900 miles apart. And yet, for 3 nights in a row, they both reported dreaming of the same thing: a hallway of floating lanterns, a river underneath the floorboards, a door glowing white. At the end, someone standing beside them saying, "Not yet." Mallory assumed the dream was hers alone until she joined a private NDE group online and read Teresa's post. The description matched exactly: color, sound, placement, message. When they spoke, they realized something even stranger. Each dream happened on the anniversary of their near death experience. Two people, same dream, same dates, no contact. Just the echo of the same moment they both lived through, separately but also together. The shared premonition. A man named Victor had an NDE during cardiac arrest. A woman, Elise, survived a drowning years earlier. They didn't know each other. They lived on opposite coasts but never crossed paths. But one night, both woke up abruptly at 2:04 a.m. with the same vision: a child standing in the middle of the street, staring at the headlights, a sense of urgency, a pressure in the chest, the sound of a horn, a moment freezing like a photograph, but wrote it down. Both felt sick in the morning. 3 days later, a news story broke. A 5-year-old boy had been hit by a car at 2:04 a.m. on a street that neither Victor nor Elise had ever been to. They described the scene exactly as it happened, down to the color of the child's pajamas. They connected online months later and realized something chilling. They had premonitions separately their whole lives, but they'd only matched after the NDE. It was as if the experience tuned them in to the same wavelength, the door that opened twice. A hospice nurse named Sandra had an NDE in her 20s after a car accident. Years later, she was caring for a patient named Henry, who had also died and came back during surgery. One night, while checking on him, they both paused because both felt the air change. They described it later as a soft pressure, a shift in temperature, a widening of the room. At the same moment, both turned their heads to the exact same corner and said, "There." They saw nothing with their eyes, but both felt an unmistakable presence, as if a door opened that only they could sense. A minute later, the pressure faded. 2 weeks after the experience, Henry died peacefully. Sandra said, "It felt like the door opened, not for him to leave, but for me to remember." She had felt it once during her NDE. She felt it again with him. An echo returning, reverberating. Here are 3 creepy facts to haunt your day. Several people have awakened from NDEs speaking languages they were never taught, or understanding languages they had only heard casually. Some survivors show measurable spikes in IQ within weeks of returning with no neurological explanation. A handful of cases show sudden savant-like abilities, math, art, or music appearing instantly after revival. These echoes aren't dramatic. They're subtle, quiet, and intimate, that two radios pick up when tuned to the same station. People who survive death aren't just connected to the other side, they're connected to each other. They understand loneliness in the same shape. They understand silence in the same language. They understand time as something flexible. They understand life as something with edges that don't stay fixed. And maybe the echoes aren't messages from the dead. Maybe they're reminders from the living. Proof that once you cross that line, even for a moment, you're never alone again. Not in this world and not in whatever waits after it. We're all carrying a frequency. Some of us just happen to hear it. Tonight, we explore the strange connection between near death experiencers, the dreams, the visions, the shared vibrations, the move through people who walk through the same door. But next time, we step into something darker. When the echoes don't stay soft, when the visions turn heavy, when the gift becomes a burden and the other side won't stay quiet. Until then, stay curious and always, always stay haunted.